remember a story you told one time about when you were going overseas in the Marines. You arrived and there were like mines in the harbor.
Right. We had finished a 17-day trip from San Diego almost to Yokohama, Japan. I noticed the ship stopped at sea. A little pilot boat came over, and out stepped a Japanese gentleman that apparently made his way up to the skipper's deck. And then the ship began to move. The water was clear, and we were all on the side, of course, our first glance at looking at another land. Mm-hmm. And you know what? We looked down in the water, and there were underwater mines. Not hundreds of them, but strategically located. And that ship worked its way through the harbor. Had we taken the ship, or had our skipper taken it, we'd have gone directly for our pier, but he knew where the mines were. And I use it as an example. When you are taught to think correctly about the doctrines, you know where the mines are. And you will also know how to circumvent, or when necessary, answer those, let's take the analogy all the way, who have been caught in the explosion of the mine. Right. Their lives have been driven astray, or they become confused. I dealt, for example, not long ago with a mother and dad who had lost their son. Frankly, he had taken his life while in college. Well, they were devastated. We were all in tears over the loss.
Of course.
And she spoke of talking to her son that very morning as he came in through the moonbeam or the sunbeam through the window onto the picture she had of him. And she knew it was him because his picture was there.
The sunbeam
was
the sun.
Was her son. S-O-N. You know, Wayne, I had to be very delicate with that because, as you know, from dealing with people who have lost a loved one. But little by little, I helped her know it wasn't the voice of her son. Because the dead don't speak. Now, that's a doctrinal issue. And I've studied the dead at length. I've studied death. Most people couldn't even define death. Surrounding death is all sorts of superstition and fear, and of course, ignorance. When those things mix together, you're awash. Well, long story short, she thanked me before I left that day for helping her. And I gave her an embrace. I embraced her husband. I told him how much I loved them, but I didn't want her to begin to visit a gravesite talking to a tombstone. Weeks passed. I saw them at church one Sunday. He grabbed me and pulled me over. They both gave me a hug, and he said, "You need to know. You saved us from going way off because of our love for our son and because we were so ignorant about death. We've made a study of death," he said, which is in the area of anthropology, the study of man. And I simply gave him a short course on the doctrine of death.
So theology was very practical.
You could ask that couple today, and they would say it saved them from a long, long drift they could have gotten on. In fact, in a matter of days, she had cleared out the closet. She had still had the picture of her son, still felt warmly, connected to him, but she knew, I will not talk with him till I see him in eternity. What a relief for that mother.